In this Map Suite MVC Edition sample app walkthrough, we're going to show you how you can find the feature that the user clicked on. In this example here, we've got a simple application with the World Map Kit as a background overlay. And then we're also overlaying a shapefile that has all the country borders, and you'll see that with these green lines here that signify the different country boundaries. Now if I come over here and I click on one of these countries, you'll see that now it's highlighted, and we've popped up a little balloon window here that has some information from the shapefile that we're displaying, such as the country name, population, and a color. So let's dig right into the code and see how you would implement this in your own application. To start, let's look at the controller source, and we're going to look right here at this this routine first, where the map is getting initialized, and this is the code that executes when the application is first loaded. So here we're just creating a new map, setting its size and such, setting the background color, setting the current extent where we want it to zoom in by default, and setting the map unit for the data we're going to be working with, in this case decimal degree. The next two lines of code are just adding the World Map Kit overlay to the map, so we have a base map to work with. And then these lines of code are loading up the countries 02 shapefile that are containing the boundaries of all the countries in the world, and giving it a transparent style with that green border that we saw a little bit earlier. Next, we're going to go ahead and add that country 02 world layer to another layer overlay, and then the next thing we're going to do is going to go ahead and create an in-memory feature layer, so when we click on it we can highlight that country that was selected. So that's what we're doing with this line of code here, and we're actually going to call that highlight layer, and we're going to give it a style, a default area style of kind of that transparent green that you saw once we clicked on Brazil earlier, and apply that to all 20 zoom levels so it shows up no matter where we're zoomed into. At this point we're not adding anything to the highlight layer, but we'll add it after the user clicks on it, so we want to go ahead and set it up and tell the map control how to render it once we do add some features to that in-memory layer. The next set of code here is just adding that in-memory layer to the dynamic overlay, and then adding those overlays to the map. And then one last piece of code we're going ahead and do is define and add our cloud pop-up and set the auto size to true and its visibility to false. And again, we'll actually show that and populate it with some information once the user clicks it. So that's the code that happens when the application is initially loaded. There is one other piece I wanted to show you, and that's on the view source side here. And we're going to go ahead and register the Onclientclick event on the map. So when the user clicks that, this map click will be called, which is a JavaScript function right here. So that's telling the map control, hey, when somebody clicks on the map, call this JavaScript routine. So that's the next place I want to take you to, is because when the user clicks on that, this JavaScript is going to fire. And within that, we're going to do some code here. So the first thing we're going to do is get a reference to our pop-up that we defined when the application was first loaded. And then we're going to set the location of that pop-up to the X and Y of where the user clicked. So this is passed in to this event, so it's great so you can get that location and put your pop-up wherever the user clicked. The next set of code we're going to do is we're going to do an Ajax callback using the Ajax call action method off of the map, and this is where we're going to go to the server and actually find the shape that the user clicked in. And to do the Ajax callback, we need to tell it the controller we're going to use, the method within that controller, and then we're also going to pass in the longitude and latitude values of where that user clicks so we can do a spatial query. Once that's returned from the server, the only thing left to do is redraw the dynamic overlay, because we'll be adding that feature the user clicked on, and set the content we get back from the server for the pop-up and show it accordingly. So most of the heavy lifting of this sample is done in the find feature click method back on the server. So let's go take a look at that. Here's the find feature click method. The first thing we're doing in this method is we're just creating a new point shape named position based upon the longitude and latitude passed in from the client and the event arguments. And then after that, we're getting reference to both our static overlay that contains the world shapefile and our dynamic overlay that contains our in-memory shapefile. or not in-memory layer, I should say. Then we go ahead and get a reference to the world layer, shapefile feature layer, and our in-memory layer, which we're going to use for the highlight layer. We clear out any other previous features in the highlight layer because we only want to show one on the map at a time in this case. And then we're going to do our spatial query to find out what country they actually selected on, and that's what these 3 lines of code are doing here. First, we must open up the shapefile world layer, and then we're going to do a query using the query tools, get features containing, and then pass in the position where the user clicked. So that position again is coming from this point shape we created up here based upon the longitude and latitude where the user clicked. Some additional parameters on this query include what column names we want to get back from the shapefile. I usually just say all column names, but if you want to just define the ones that you want, you can create a new string array like we did here. And in this case, it's country name, the population for the country, and then the color. So that's going to give us a selection, the features that are inside of where that user clicked. So that's going to give us the country, basically, of where that user clicked. Once we have that, we just loop through that collection. In this case, there's only going to be one because countries can't overlap each other. And we're going to add that feature to the highlight layer. So when the dynamic overlay is refreshed, that new feature will be displayed with that rendering logic we set up earlier in the application. And then finally, we just go ahead and get the pop-up content by passing in that feature, and that's what this routine does here by going through and getting the column values associated with that feature, such as the name, population, color, etc., and building up our HTML so that can be returned to the server and displayed in the pop-up. So with that, you get the end result here of being able to click on a country, highlight it with that greenish color that we said, and of course you can change it to be whatever color or style that you'd like. And then again with a pop-up with other information from that specific feature that was clicked on. I hope this sample app walkthrough has been helpful. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to contact us, or you can post your questions directly on our discussion forum at thinkgeo.com/forums. Thank you for watching.